He left everything behind: the money, the city, and the so-called perfect life. What he found in a forgotten town would change everything forever. David's journey to Willow Creek was a leap of faith, a decision born out of desperation and a longing for something more meaningful. For years, he had been trapped in the relentless grind of corporate life, suffocating beneath the weight of endless deadlines, high-pressure meetings, and the soul-crushing realization that he was nothing more than a cog in a vast, impersonal machine. He had once dreamed of working with his hands, creating something tangible, and finding fulfillment in the simple act of building. But those dreams had long been buried beneath stacks of paperwork and the ever-mounting expectations of a life that no longer felt like his own. One particularly grueling evening, after yet another exhausting shift, David sat alone in his dimly lit apartment, staring at the blank walls surrounding him. A hollow emptiness gnawed at him, a whisper in the back of his mind telling him this wasn't the life he was meant to live. That night, he made a choice that would alter the course of his future. He quit his job, packed what little he owned, and left the city behind. He had no concrete plan, only a heart full of hope and the determination to rediscover himself. Willow Creek lay nestled in rolling hills, far removed from the chaos of the world he had known. The moment he arrived, he felt something shift within him. The air was fresh, carrying the scent of pine and earth. The town itself was a picturesque haven where life moved at a slower, more deliberate pace. People greeted each other by name, doors remained unlocked, and kindness was as much a currency as money. For the first time in years, David felt at peace. He knew, deep in his bones, that he had made the right choice. Not long after settling in, he came across a small, run-down garage on the outskirts of town. It was far from perfect. The roof leaked, the paint was peeling, and the equipment was outdated. But it had something money couldn't buy: potential. With the last of his savings, he bought the garage and set to work, determined to breathe new life into it. The first few months were brutal. Business was slow, money was tight, and doubt gnawed at the edges of his resolve. But every morning, as he stepped into that shop, he felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. He worked tirelessly, often long into the night, fixing up old cars, making the shop his own, pouring his soul into every bolt tightened and every engine restored. Slowly but surely, word spread of the skilled mechanic who had come to town. One by one, customers trickled in, and soon his reputation began to grow. One stormy night, as rain hammered against the roof and the wind howled through the trees, David was bent over an old truck, lost in his work, when the sharp screech of tires outside shattered the silence. The sickening crunch of metal followed, sending him sprinting into the storm. There, just beyond his shop, a car lay wrecked against a tree. Behind the wheel, a woman, injured, shaken, and disoriented. Without hesitation, he pulled open the door and helped her inside. He cleaned her wounds, wrapped her in a warm blanket, and sat with her until the storm passed. She introduced herself as Anna. At first, she was just a stranger caught in the rain. But fate had other plans. In the days that followed, David learned that Anna was no ordinary passerby. She was the owner of a successful car manufacturing company and, ironically, a major shareholder in the very corporation he had walked away from. Yet, she wasn't like the people he had left behind. She wasn't hardened by greed or blinded by ambition. She saw something in him that others hadn't: his raw talent, his dedication, and the fire that burned within him. Impressed by his skill and relentless work ethic, she made him an offer, an investment in his garage. With her support, he could expand, bring in better equipment, and turn his humble shop into something extraordinary. At first, David hesitated. He had always prided himself on doing things alone. The idea of accepting help felt foreign, almost like admitting failure. But deep down, he knew this was the opportunity he had been waiting for. With Anna's backing, he could finally build something lasting, something real. Months passed, and the garage transformed before his eyes. New equipment filled the once empty space, a small team of skilled mechanics joined him, and business thrived. Cars lined up outside his shop, and his name became one spoken with admiration throughout the town. But as his business flourished, so did something else, something neither he nor Anna had expected. Their late-night strategy meetings turned into long conversations about life, dreams, and regrets. The easy camaraderie between them deepened into something unspoken, but undeniably present. Despite the years between them, Anna was in her early 50s. There was an understanding, a connection neither could ignore. One evening, after a particularly long day at the shop, they sat side by side on the porch of David's small house, watching the sun melt into the horizon. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers, and the distant hum of crickets filled the silence between them. David took a deep breath, his fingers tightening around the edge of his chair. "Anna," he began, his voice hesitant, unsure. She turned to him, her eyes filled with warmth and curiosity. "What is it, David?" He hesitated for only a moment before meeting her gaze. "I've been feeling something between us," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Something more than just business. But I worry about the age difference." A flicker of surprise crossed her face before it softened into a smile. She reached for his hand, her fingers lacing through his. "David," she said gently, "life isn't measured in years. It's measured in moments. And the moments I've spent with you, they've been some of the best." As the last light of the sun faded beyond the hills, David realized something. He had spent so long searching for a place to belong, for something real, something lasting. And in the quiet warmth of that evening, hand in hand with Anna, he finally understood he had found it. "I don't know if it's right, or if you feel the same way." David's voice was hesitant, uncertain, his gaze fixed on the fading horizon. The golden light of the setting sun bathed the world in warmth, but his heart pounded with the chill of uncertainty. He had taken a leap in business, in life, but love was different. It was uncharted territory, and the fear of misstep lingered heavy in his chest. Anna turned to him, a knowing smile playing on her lips. She placed a gentle hand over his, her touch steady and reassuring. "David," she said softly, "age is just a number. What matters is how we feel about each other. And I can tell you with certainty, I feel the same way." A breath he hadn't realized he was holding escaped him. Relief flooded through him, followed quickly by an overwhelming sense of happiness. He had feared admitting his feelings, afraid of what it might mean, afraid of what she might say. But now that he had, the weight that had pressed down on him for weeks lifted, leaving him lighter than he had felt in years. "I feel the same way, Anna," he confessed, his voice steadier now, his fingers tightening around hers. "You've changed my life in ways I never thought possible." From that moment on, something shifted between them. The quiet tension that had lingered beneath every conversation, every stolen glance, melted away, replaced by something new, something stronger. They became inseparable, supporting each other not just in business, but in love. Their days were filled with shared laughter and whispered dreams, their nights, with deep conversations and quiet companionship. Together, they faced every challenge that came their way, proving that sometimes, life brings unexpected blessings when you least expect them. As the years passed, David's garage grew into something far greater than he had ever imagined. What had once been a struggling repair shop on the outskirts of town became one of the most successful automotive service centers in the region. People came not just for the quality work, but for the trust and dedication David had built his business upon. His and Anna's partnership flourished, both professionally and personally, their dreams intertwining like the roots of a mighty tree. One evening, as they stood outside the garage, watching the sun dip below the hills of the town they had come to love, David turned to Anna, his eyes filled with wonder. "I never would have imagined that a stormy night and a car accident would lead to all of this," he mused. Anna smiled, squeezing his hand. "Life is full of surprises, David," she said, her voice rich with emotion. "And I'm grateful for every single one that brought us here." Their story was not just one of love, but of resilience, of chasing dreams that had once seemed impossible, of finding purpose in the unexpected. Together, they built not just a business but a life filled with passion, success, and the unshakable belief that anything was possible. But their dreams did not stop there. With their combined knowledge, Anna's expertise in the automotive industry and David's hands-on skill, they envisioned something greater. A future where David's garage wasn't just a local repair shop, but a beacon of innovation in the industry. They poured their energy into a new project, one they called EcoFix. The goal was simple yet revolutionary: to create a line of sustainable, eco-friendly repair solutions that could change the way cars were fixed. No longer would repairs be solely about restoring vehicles. They would be about preserving the planet. Together, they developed biodegradable cleaning products, energy-efficient tools, and sustainable repair techniques. Their idea was met with skepticism from industry veterans, financial roadblocks, and an uphill battle against the norms of the trade. But they refused to give up. Their breakthrough came when they partnered with a local university's engineering department to develop a new material, a recyclable, highly durable alternative to traditional car parts. They named it green steel, a game changer in the industry. Slowly, the world began to take notice. Other repair shops reached out, eager to implement their eco-friendly methods. Investors approached them, intrigued by their vision. Magazines ran stories about their work, and soon, they were speaking at conferences, sharing their journey with the world. Through it all, they remained grounded, never forgetting the small-town garage where it had all begun. Success didn't change them. If anything, it strengthened them. They celebrated every milestone together. The launch of their first EcoFix product, the expansion of their shop, and eventually, the opening of a second location in a neighboring town. Their work had become more than just a business. It was a mission, one fueled by their passion and love for what they had built together. One evening, as they sat side by side in their newly renovated office, surrounded by blueprints, prototypes, and the quiet hum of their shared dreams, David turned to Anna, his voice thick with emotion. "I never could have done this without you," he admitted. "You didn't just believe in me, you believed in us. You believed in what we could build together." Anna's eyes shone with love and pride. "We did this together, David. And this is just the beginning. There's still so much more we can achieve." And she was right. Their success wasn't the end of their story. It was just another chapter in a life they had built side by side. As the years passed, their legacy only grew. They established a foundation to support young mechanics and engineers, providing scholarships, mentorship programs, and resources for those who dreamed of working with their hands, but lacked the means. Their story became an inspiration, a reminder that it was never too late to chase one's dreams, that love could bloom in the most unexpected of places, and that even the smallest choices, like leaving behind a life that no longer fit, could lead to something extraordinary. Years later, as they stood outside what had once been a modest repair shop and was now a thriving hub of innovation and sustainability, they reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them there. The sun painted the town in golden hues, laughter filled the air, and the rhythmic sounds of machinery hummed in the distance, a melody of progress, of dreams realized. David turned to Anna, his heart swelling with gratitude. "I still can't believe how far we've come," he murmured. "From that stormy night to this, it's been an incredible journey." Anna smiled, her fingers lacing through his. "It has, David. And it's all because we took a chance, on our dreams, on each other." As they stood hand in hand, they knew their story was far from over. Challenges would still arise, new dreams would take shape, and the world would continue to change. But they were ready for it, just as they always had been, because as long as they had each other, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. Their story became more than just a tale of success. It became a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of faith, determination, and love. Proof that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a single step into the unknown. And in that step, one might just find a future more beautiful than they had ever imagined.